Hello, dreamers! Hope you are spending a lovely holiday with your friends and family this year. To get you even more into the festive spirit, I want to share with you the process behind my Christmas themed illustration. So let's draw together. I usually start my creative day typing and checking my emails. Sometimes it takes longer than just a couple of seconds, but I love keeping in touch with people on current projects. As soon as I'm done with admin stuff, I take out my iPad and I start drawing. As always, I start my drawing with a sketch. My first draft is never the prettiest. I just draw a bunch of lines to get a sense of the space. Then I lock in the main shapes and add more details with the third pass. As I said before, this illustration is Christmas themed, and for that reason I am using the very recognizable layout from the nativity scene, where we have a big triangular shape at the center and all the characters arranged around it. The star of this illustration is the Christmas tree. My little characters are finishing decorating just in time for Christmas. Time for a quick tea break. Here's my drink of choice for the day. It is my favorite. Spiced pumpkin pie is a perfect tea for winter and especially for the festive season. Now, back to work. I'm going to color everything on Procreate, starting by defining the shape of each character. I use my favorite pencil brush and set it to a very chunky size. This is my super not so secret technique to make the edges look more textured. Once I've lined out the edges of each character, I use the drag and drop function to fill in the shape with the solid color. This is a very handy trick you can use on Procreate. It makes things move faster and you lose less time trying to fill in the shapes manually. But sometimes I like to do things the traditional way. Now that drawing is part of my job, I always try to find ways to do things better and faster, but I forget how therapeutic the whole process is. So if I have some extra time, I indulge into filling in the shapes manually, as if I was drawing in a coloring book. Who are these characters, you may ask? Let me introduce them to you. On the left, you have Lottie, a curious and brave girl. She lives in a lighthouse on the coast with her dragon, Blue. They are inseparable and they always help each other. As you can see, there is nothing they cannot do, even putting the big star on top of the tall tree. On the right, we have Birdie, the little flying hurricane. He is an expert navigator who traveled long distances to join his friends in time for the holidays. And then we have Markle, last addition to this group of friends. Markle always brings his violin wherever he goes, and I bet he will play a little symphony to his friends once they are done decorating. All the character shapes are done. To fill in other details, I like to draw the other shapes above the main one. Things like the hair, clothes and shoes. Then I select the clipping mask function from the drop-down menu for each layer. This way, the layer above will be contained inside the one below, and things will not go outside the borders of the main shape. These are the main characters of the picture book I started working on last winter. Lottie's adventure is not a finished book yet. There is still so much to be done for this book to be ready for you to read, but this is no excuse to keep Lottie and their friends hiding inside my head. Drawing them all together makes me really feel like my own characters are alive and happy. Is that the same for you? It took me a long time to come up with the character design. Believe me when I say Lottie has had more changes of clothes and hairstyles than I could imagine. Designing your own character is a fun process though. I always pictured their faces inside my head, and when I put them on paper for the first time, they literally came to life. When it comes to character design, everything about them should express their personality, what they like, and how they react to the environment around them. For example, Lottie is wearing practical clothes and waterproof boots because she is always jumping around along the coast, where things are muddy and wet depending on the tides. She also wears a pair of aviator glasses because her dream is to become an explorer and fly around the world with Blue. You can also see other subtle things, like the fact that Blue has big eyes to show she is a gentle and friendly dragon, or the fact that Marco is wearing bright red shoes, which are in contrast with the preppy clothes he has to wear at the Academy of Music, where he practices every day. These and other small details really make the difference, and they help you tell the story of your characters just with their appearance. You can add as many details as you want, but in my case, I like to keep things minimal when it comes to character design. My goal is to make every character as unique as possible with just a few details. Talking about details, adding some extra touches to your illustration is what will make everything pop. Just like I draw all the decorations one by one, I've also painted all the tree needles the same way. One big stroke at a time, using different shades of green to add dimension to the tree. The ultimate thing you need to add is some highlights. After all, the big star is shining bright. You want some of that light to reflect on your characters. This also helps defining the edges of your characters and make them stand out above the dark background. Here's one last recap of the illustration process for this year's holiday card. Before sharing the final illustration, I've decided to use a modern Gothic font for the holiday greetings. This font reminds me of old travel books with hand-drawn maps hiding between the pages, which is the perfect look to pair with Lottie's story. Time to wrap things up. I'm going to make a start on the script for my video and also use my Notion template to plan my work for the week after the holidays. Thank you for joining me in my studio today. If you'd like to see more of these Storytime Studio vlogs, like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you very soon, and until then, happy holidays!